How about now? Are you hearing anything now? I think you guys should be hearing me now. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, Jeff, are you here? Is anybody hearing me now? We're actually doing a little test here. Look at your screen, and when I turn my head and look at you, tell me if you can hear me. Okay, see, this is the fun part here. All right. So you guys are hearing me now. Thank you. I apologize for that. Again, we are catching up with each other and learning things at the same time. So now we're good to go. I understand exactly what happened, and I will never make that mistake again. So we're going to go ahead and get into audience insights. Now, what is audience insights? Actually, before I go there, let me come back and say again that we want to, if you have questions and answers and anything like that, I'd really like for you to ask those kinds of questions on YouTube versus on Facebook, because there's so many different channels that I have going on in Facebook right now that I won't be able to see all your questions. I do see that audio is low. I actually have it increased to the full ability here. I think it might be something on your end. If not, then we'll have to adjust for the next time. Let me see here. All right. So you guys are hearing me now. Thank you. I apologize. Excellent. All right. So now that we've got that going, I'm going to go ahead and get started on training. What we're going to talk about today is audience insights, and this is a part of Facebook management, Facebook ads, things like that. And when you get into Facebook, you're going to find your audience insight. And how you're going to do that is, if you do not already have an ads manager, then I'll tell you how to find that real quick. I won't tell you how to set that up because that's for another time. If you, I have a business manager, so I'm going to be going into my business manager, but I'll show you how to do it as well. What you're going to do is, from your Facebook page, from any page in Facebook, it can be your home page or a team page, it doesn't matter. Over here, there's a little arrow, and it's a down arrow. I'm going to actually try to make the screen a little bit bigger for you. Hopefully it makes it easier for you to see. There you go. So you're going to use this down arrow over here, and we're going to scroll down. Now, I have a business manager account, so my business manager is here. But if you don't have a business manager, then what you can do is come down to Manage Ads. And when you click on Manage Ads, it'll take you right to your Ads Manager. So I'll go there for you guys just to check that out. So this would be your ads manager, and you can go in and you can choose your account and look at things like that. What I'm going to do, though, is we're going straight into the business manager, which is up here. Now, my business manager is basically a place for me to create multiple ads, multiple channels for different things. It's like one ads account, but I can take on other people's ads accounts and do more with them. Again, that's a training for another day. What we're going to talk about today specifically is audience insights and how do you get there. And it really doesn't matter whether you're coming from a personal account or you're coming from a business account. You're going to do it the same exact way. You're going to click on these three little dots up here, these three little arrows. And when you click on that, you'll have some options in here. Now, these options are your most frequently used. So obviously, if you've never used audience insights, it's not going to be there for you. So what we're going to do is go down to All Tools. And when you go to All Tools, you can hover above these and you can click on them. And one thing that's really important to understand, and Chris Record is the greatest guy in the world, and he's told us already, this is a moving target. Everything is changing constantly. The way that's listed, the way it's worded, but you can get around if you have just kind of a little bit of an open mind and an open creative imagination. You can get around in here and you can actually see what I'm talking about. It may change names, but it still functions the same. So here is the ads manager. That would be for a regular user just going in and doing some small ads, but a business manager is what I have. That's why you have those two things. Over here is audience insights. Now, there was an occasion where I was actually doing a training, and this wasn't even in my all tools. What I actually had to do was to go in and type it in. Audience insights, and then I had to click on it from there. And that is how eventually I got it into here, and then I clicked on it in there and it added it to my frequently used list there. So that's how that works. So once it's going into Audience Insights, and once we're into Audience Insights, this is where the magic happens. Now, I leave this on, everyone on Facebook, or this pops up every single time. You can click Don't Show This Again. For me personally, I just want to be reminded that I can actually do a specific audience to just people that are connected to me. I don't do that very often, but I have done it once, and I'm thinking I might need to do it some other day, so I don't actually get rid of that yet. So I'm actually going to choose an audience to start off with, and that audience is going to be every single person on Facebook. So when I do that, it begins to set up a basic for me. Now the basics for me, if you can see here, I'm going to point out some key areas. This one right here says 200 million to 250 million monthly active people. So this is the audience that we're working with right now. Who is this monthly audience of 200 to 250 million people? It's just people in the United States. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this part. So just the people in the United States, which is a default for me. Now, it depends on what kind of ad you're going to be creating eventually as to what kind of audience you're going to use. Now, if I'm going to create a digital product and I'm going to deliver, say, for example, this video, if I wanted to share this video, this actual training with the entire world, then I would probably add some more countries here. I wouldn't add it to the entire world because I'm speaking English and not every country speaks English. So I would add different countries here. For example, I might add Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. So United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. I'm missing one. So there's five English-speaking countries. That's predominantly English, and that's what I would do there. But if I'm doing a drop ship product or if I'm doing a print on demand product, I'm going to keep that in the US. I'm going to keep that tied pretty tight and just do my marketing there. There's no reason spending dollars on advertising to people outside of other countries that you're not going to actually be able to ship to inexpensively, or you're not going to be able to ship to at all. So in the United States here, now I want to point out something really specific about this area. Throughout this training, I'm going to come back and talk to you about, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to come back to things and talk about them later. This is one area in particular. This training is all about audience insights and why it is so cool and how to use it in a cool way, but also when it's not cool and when it's better to use when it's better to use Facebook Ads Manager. So what I like to do is Audience Insights. I like to create this audience and to really delve down and learn new things about the audience. And then I use Ads Manager to really tightly refine it, especially when it comes to the country or the cities or the locations. One of the things that I promised I would deliver for you is to teach you how to become a celebrity, a rock star, like basically overnight in your neighborhood. And this is one way we can do it. We can actually start targeting your audience. Now, let's say I have a product that I want to deliver to a local audience. Let's say I'm a local business. I'm a yoga studio. Well, if I'm a yoga studio, I don't want to advertise to the entire United States. I want to get rid of that. And I want to advertise to just maybe Phoenix. Maybe I want to advertise to Phoenix and Scottsdale. Maybe I want to really, really tighten it up and a lot smaller than that. And I want to just keep it one city that I'm in. Well, this is where Ads Manager actually is cooler and better for this. Once I've defined my audience, I'll go back into Ads Manager and I can actually select a radius. I can select a radius between 5 miles and 25 miles, I think up to 50 miles maybe, around a starting point. And I like Ads Manager better for that, but I will show you that a little later on in the training. So this is really good for local small business. If I want to target a specific area or region, this is great for that. In the meantime, what we're talking about is we're just talking about learning an audience. So we're going to start pretty broad and then narrow our audience down. So we're going to start in the United States. And in the United States, we have 200 to 250 million people. Well, obviously, we don't want that. We don't want 200 to 250 million people. So we have to start thinking about our audience. What kind of products we want to sell? Who do we want to sell to? When I've done marketing for 23 years, and in that time frame, wait a minute, correct that. All right, back up, scary. 33 years. And in that time frame, the one thing I've learned most important is that you have to understand who your audience is before you find a product for them. There are a lot of people who create product and then go out and try to find an audience. And those people typically, more often than not, lose. We want to be winners here. And if you want to be a winner, then you're going to have to start off with finding your demographic first. Who is it that you want to sell to? Or more importantly, who is it that already likes buying? So typically speaking, that's going to be women. Women typically of the age of, depending on the product, but typically the spenders are either the younger audience targeted specifically, the late teens, early 20s, because we are talking about buying products. We're talking about purchasing products. We're talking about a demographic now in Facebook of starting at 18 years old. Now, the younger demographic is a huge market, and they have a lot of actual disposable income that they'll spend, but they can't legally buy anything online. So if you're targeting to a much younger audience, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit here, because this was actually a small case study of something I was talking to someone earlier about. If you have a product that's suitable for a younger audience, don't target the younger audience themselves, target the mothers of the younger audience. And there's a way to do that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's say I've got a really cool idea for a purse or a little bag, or maybe a lipstick case, or something small that I can either give away for free and charge some shipping and handling, or I can sell inexpensively. I can go in and target this very easily. So example, I'm going to start with the United States. I'm going to come down here in the gender. Well, I'm going to know. Let's say my product that I want to start presenting is great for a market between, let's say, maybe 9-year-old girls to, 15-year-old girls. That kind of young target market. Well, I'm not going to find an 18-year-old woman who has a 9-year-old girl. That's not likely, or at least it's not probable. So I'm going to target my audience maybe up into, let's say, the 30s. And I'm going to go from 30 to, let's say, maybe 45. I know women are having babies later, but let's just say if a woman had a child at 30, by the time she's 40, she's got a 10-year-old in the house. And if a woman had a child when she's 25, by the time she's 35, 10 years old. So we've got this pretty good widespread here. And 45, we could go probably a little older than that. We might go up to 50. And we're going to target just women. Now, what we're doing, as we're doing this, you'll see that this number has changed significantly. We went from 250 potential monthly active users to only 45 million, 250 million to 45 million. So we're getting a lot of good information here right away. We're already starting to narrow down our market. But how do we know that these women, we're just kind of guessing at this point, do these women actually have children? Well, we can actually determine that. So we come down here in the advanced stages, and we can actually specifically say we want people who are in a relationship, engaged, or married. That way we know that they come from a household where there's a mother and a father. They're together. I was probably politically incorrect, but I'm very politically incorrect. That there's a household that everybody's intact, it's together, and that there's 2 parents and children in the household. Or we could target specifically single mothers. That's a great way. Single mothers do like to spoil their children and shower their daughters. We could also, on the other side, the flip side, I don't recommend this for this particular market, but you could also target dads. Dads of daughters. And that's a great thing to do if you have like print-on-demand shirts or things like that. If you're targeting father, this father will protect his daughter no matter what, under any and all circumstances, beware or be prepared. What a great shirt, right? Well, then you would target men with daughters. But when you're talking about accessory items, fashion accessories, things like that, target the mothers of daughters, mothers of women, daughters, who are in the probably 9 to 10 or 9 to 15 range, then we're going to do that right now. So we're going to come in here. We're not going to worry about the relationship status. We're going to come down here to Behaviors? No. I'm going to work through this with you. Market segments. Here we go. We're going to choose that they have children in the home. That's going to be important. We might say working moms. We can choose parents and say parents of children between the ages of 13 and 15, 4 to 12. So I might say 4 to 12 and 13 to 15 years old. That's a real solid range of younger children who are starting to get into fashion, starting to get into some accessory items, things like that. Costume jewelry, like say purses, handbags, some fashion tops, things like that. I have a little girl and I love to spoil her. That's why I'm so in tune to this, because I've done that my whole entire life, even though she's not a younger girl anymore, but still do it. So this is a great way. Now let's look at what our demographic is. Now our demographic has dropped down to 2.5 to 3 million monthly active people. So awesome. See how we're doing is we're narrowing down that market tighter and tighter and tighter. By the way, one of the big questions is, what's our goal here? Is 2.5 million people, do we want to advertise to them? And some people might instantly think, yeah, that would be great. I get this big, broad audience and get 2.5 million to 3 million people buying my stuff. Not necessarily. When you're first beginning, you want to start your market pretty narrow. You want to get it down. There's a lot of different advice on this, ranging from start with about 100,000 to start with about 1 million. So I'm going to tell you that you should be shooting for that sweet spot in the middle, somewhere between 500 maybe and 750,000, maybe even 3 to 700,000. That would be a good target market to start with, because you want to make it as narrow as possible, so that you're getting more sales, more clicks, more things like that, and you can determine which one to target. If you start off with a really, really broad audience, it's harder to narrow it down and to really define your audience that way. So, and that's what this whole training is about. So I'm going to work our way down the left-hand side a little bit more. So we've got the children, we've got that. I think that's important. You can choose different affinities here if it's a specific thing. One of the things that I've talked about is targeting specific groups, and this may go away anytime in the near future. By the way, Facebook has gotten some slack for some of this stuff, but I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity to cater to a specific group. So if I'm going to target women, maybe I'm going to target Hispanic women, I can actually write the ad in Spanish that way. So this is one thing that's really cool to use that for. So we're done there. We talked about parents. We've done that. Okay. Life events. This is great. You know, if you have someone who's traveling, they're away from family, things like that, it's always good. Pull on a little heartstrings there. You can actually target your ad specifically to that. You can say, you know, are you away from home so much that your kids miss you? Well, now's a great time to send them a little gift from the road and let them know you love them. And then you could target their ad that way. If you're doing couples jewelry, couples items, if you're selling vacations, if you're selling getaways, things like that, long distance relationships, you could target that, and then now you can start a really, really targeted market to say, you know, you're apart for so long, come together and live in paradise for a week, and then target a vacation to long distance loves. So there's lots of cool things you can do here. Recently moved. This is one of my favorites right here, upcoming birthdays. When you choose upcoming birthday, this is really cool because this tells you I can now do an ad targeted to moms of children who are between the ages of 13 and, 4 and 15, who are coming up with a birthday soon. This is great news because I can say, what an amazing birthday gift. So target your audience, narrow it down, and you'll see here that now we're down to 50K to 60K monthly active people. Now we've gone to the opposite extreme. We've gone from a really broad audience to now a really narrow audience. As a matter of fact, probably too narrow. So now we have to kind of back up a little bit. If we remove that, upcoming birthdays, we definitely change things a lot. So let's pick a different niche. And why are we doing this, by the way? We're doing this to narrow down our market, to make it a very specific target. We can actually put in here the home value of people, whether they rent or they own. We can talk about their education, whether they're high school, college, or college grads. We can talk about what they do for work, how much money they make. We might know that the product that we're picking is better suited for people who make under $100,000. We might do some really fine items, high price ticket, high items, and we can target audiences that are above 100,000 or above 250,000. Again, these types of things are really important depending on your product. We don't know your product at this point. We're really targeting what audience we want to sell something to. And this is why Audience Insights is great, because I haven't gotten to that part yet. We're now just kind of getting a real broad picture of what our audience is. So what do we know so far? What do we know so far is that we have, in the United States, women between the ages of 30 and 50 that have children in the home that are and that are working moms. So this, and one more, and no, that's it. So that's what we have so far. And now we can go ahead and start defining, well, we're still at 250. Let's change this. Just for this example, let's narrow this down to 1.5. Let's see. We're going to target this even more narrow and say to 35. Perfect. So we're at 800 to 900,000 monthly active users. So now we have a pretty broad picture of who our person is, who our female is. But now let's take a look at what is this female into. Here's their lifestyle. They're on the go. They're outward bound. So they have some really cool stuff going on here. It tells you this. But look at remember, I think we said their relationship status. No, I guess we didn't say that. So their relationship status is married, is predominant. Education level is they're in college or have graduated college. What is their job titles? Typically in healthcare, administrative. This is really, really valuable information. Here's why it's valuable. If we're targeting, this comes into the print-on-demand sector so much. The Audience Insights is a blessing for anybody doing print-on-demand. Because right now, I know that this target audience, predominant management, sales, administrative, healthcare, personal care. I can target specific shirts to the nursing industry, to the medical industry, to dentists, to doctors. I can target it to on administrative day. I can do T-shirts says best admin ever, those kinds of things. Management, sales. These are all targets that we can actually specifically target a product to, whether it's print on demand or jewelry or fashion items, accessories, shirts. There's so much we could do, but now we start to understand their business. But there's more, but wait, there's more. Go over here and look at their page likes. This will help us determine a couple of things here. One, it's shortly after the holidays, so Elf on the Shelf is kind of an interesting game that everybody's seeming to like right now. Again, these are parents of 4 to 15-year-olds, so Flintstone vitamins. So if we have a product, for example, who what we might like tie into cartoons somehow, we might actually go and target this audience and then target Flintstone vitamins as a keyword for us. And then that we'd be attracting this huge audience. Education toys. Here, interesting news and media and publishing. They're interested in Parents Magazine. Fans of being a mom, not quite sure what that is. I'll look at that in a minute. Scary Mom, not sure what that is either. And parenting.com. Let's go look at what Scary Mom is. Scary Mom a page? Yeah, Scary Mom is a page. So this is a big page. It's attracting a lot of people. It would be a great opportunity for you to take your ad eventually and post it. I don't recommend doing a straight post to this thing, but you could get on this group here and you could start talking about things. You could start to talk about these cool things you found, maybe answer some people's questions or like some things, get involved with the community, have fun with it, and then you could pitch them a Walking Dead zombie t-shirt for a 5 to 10-year-old kid. And now again, here's a way you can get involved with the group that you know is very popular. I would imagine Fans of Being a Mom is the same thing. It's a page or a group out there. Yep. Fans of Being a Mom. Again, these are places you can go to get involved in community and start learning about things and get involved and get active. Shopping and retail, where do they shop? What TV stations? So this is some really cool stuff. Down here, you're going to find the pages they like. If you're going to do marketing and you're going to get involved with a group, you might as well learn your audience to the best of your possibility. Well, go out and like these pages. Like these pages, get involved with the group, answer questions, ask questions, get to know some of the people on there, and then friend them, like them, get them involved in your page, and that's a good way for them to get exposure to you and you to get exposure to them as an audience. There's also a way you can use these pages to help narrow down your audience if you have too broad an audience. You can actually say that I want to target an audience that is just fans of this page, children's page, and you can go and like the page, add the page, and then there are ways that you can actually add that into your ads manager. Location, you'll know where they are throughout the United States. Looks like here the largest population, largest demographic here is Colorado Springs, Colorado. I don't know why that would be. That's kind of interesting. There's Kentucky. Let's see here. Selected audience. Oh, okay. Selected audience is 200% as likely to be in a group as compared to Facebook users. Okay, so what that's saying is that I understand now. I apologize. This selected audience is basically going to be more popular within your target demographic is going to be popular in these areas. Top countries here, we're only choosing United States and we're only choosing English, so you're going to get predominantly English here. So these are all great, interesting points there. Frequency of activity, whether they're liking pages, they're connecting, they're chatting, they're sharing, what kind of devices they use. Now, if I'm selling something that's a little avant-garde, if I'm selling something that's a little maybe outside the box, maybe I'm selling something that's a little new technology, new early adopter stuff, it's still in beta, things like this, I might then target our iPhone users versus our Android users. Android users are people who are much more technical than iPhone users, but they also are typically, I don't know how to say this, they kind of test in quiet. They don't really go out. They're not out there saying, hey, I'm going to get the latest, coolest, hottest, neatest, newest device, and I'm going to beta test this, and I'm going to beta test that. Whereas iPhone users are kind of like, yeah, I want this. This is the newest, coolest, hottest technology. It's just about the way that they position themselves in the community, and a lot of iPhone users. But I would have thought that our demographic here are 30 to 35 females that their mothers have children. I would think that they'd be huge on the iPad side, and they are pretty good. We've got 19% on iPhones or iPads, but we have 24% on Android. So that tells you there's a big shift going on. Predominantly women were the predominant users of the iPhone and iPads, and now this is shifting pretty heavy towards Android. Also interesting that they're doing almost 50% mobile only. That means that they're engaging in Facebook almost 50% on just their mobiles. Desktops 49%. And I think if you see that in other demographics, if you make that younger demographic, you're going to see higher percentage of mobile only and lower percentage of desktop. Good information to look for, though. Lots of stuff. Household, this will tell you about what their average home costs are. It tells you a lot of good information about the actual end user that you're selling to. What their household size is, how much their house is worth, what they spend and how much they spend and what they spend it on is in here. Really good information. And what they're purchasing. Are they doing retail spending? Are they buying online? A lot of online purchases here. They're doing 44% of their purchases are being done online. That's pretty significant. What are the kind of purchases are they making? Household, food and drink is one. Obviously, it's a staple. Subscription services, magazines, website subscriptions. So if you have a members-only website, this is a great opportunity. This is a great demographic. They seem to really enjoy and embrace the subscription services. Household products, again, big pet owners. Another way to sideline this is you can actually go in and say, this is my primary demographic, but I want women between the ages of 30 and 35 who have children in the house, working moms with children in the home between the ages of 4 and 15 who also, oops, not that one, sorry, this one, who also like golden retrievers, for example. So now I've got specific, and I'm going in, now I only have 10 to 15,000 users, but now if I'm targeting them with a specific dog type product, a dog product with kids, like my dog and my kids are the only things I need, well, that's a great opportunity if you're doing something like that. Dog pendants, maybe a pendant for your child that says, I love Goldens, all kinds of cool opportunities there. So we're going to get rid of that for now, though, bring our audience back up. We're not going to do any specific interest targeting at this point. We're just going to look through this. So we got a pretty good one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. And we've spent about almost 25 minutes or so on audience insights. This is just to give you a general idea of what you can do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change things around a little bit. I'm going to broaden this audience again. I'm going to make this 40. So we got 1.5 to 2 million users here. Now I'm going to add some interest, and we'll go back and we'll add we'll add dog lovers. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm going to have to figure out that. I have to make my screen a little smaller so I can read that. Well, maybe it's not going to show me that. So, okay. So let's see. Let's check what that one is. Dog lovers. Okay. So we do dog lovers. We drop down significantly. Let's take this back up. Take this down. I'm doing this for a specific reason. What I want to do is I want to get a big enough audience that we can go play with it in the ads manager, and I can show you some cool things to do in there. So we're going to get rid of that. That should bring us back up. Not at all. All right. Okay. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go up here and save this audience. And I'm going to call this one, let's see. I think it was 30 to 50 female dogs, kids, 4 to 15. And I'll go ahead and save that. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I want to go to Ads Manager. I want to show you some things that I can do with this in Ads Manager that I can't do in Audience Insights. Specifically, if I was going to go in here and say dog lovers, and I'm going to say golden retrievers. Specifically, if I go in here and do that, now I've got 67K. I'm going to go ahead and just save that. I've got dog lovers and golden retrievers. When I go into Ads Manager, you're going to see what it is that I don't like about that. Actually, come back up here. So I'm going to go into Ads Manager here. And I may be in the wrong Ads Manager. We'll find out here in just a minute. So we're just going to do a real quick. It doesn't really matter what I'm clicking on here, because I'm actually going to not do an ad, but I have to start an ad in order to get to the audience. So I'm just going to do some traffic. And I'm going to say this is a traffic test, female, kids, right, female, 30, 50, kids, 4 to 15, dog, golden. And I'll create the ad account. Okay, so now we're going to go down here and we're going to go to our audience. Let's see if we can find our saved audience in here. Here we go. So this is our saved audience. So now when I'm inside of Ads Manager versus the Audience Insight, when I'm in the Ads Manager, I can define my audience much in the way that I did when I was in my Audience Insights. This is the key difference. You saw me build the last one, so I'm going to go ahead and just open up that saved audience. So it says one of the public user categories in the targeting spec contains a value that is not valid. I'm going to guess that it's one of, remember I told you earlier, one of the fields may or may not, may go away. Let's see, it may be, children in the home. We'll see. Unfortunately, this is one thing that doesn't do well. It doesn't tell you what the problem is. So you have to kind of figure it out. It's thinking. And it's still thinking. May have to do this again. Still appears to be a problem over here. Unfortunately, this is the difficulty we deal with, but we're working on it. So we're going to edit this, and we're going to look at this. Here's the primary thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, now that we have this, you can see that I have include one of the following must be true. So these are, one of these two things must be true in order for us to advertise it. That's okay. That's good. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. And what we're going to say here is, this is what I like, is that we have dog lovers and golden, because when you're doing an Insight Manager, it says that you have to have at least one of the following, which is the parent of a child in that category, and also must match dog lover, golden retriever. In here, though, in Ads Manager, we can edit that. We can actually say, I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to add it back in. I'm going to show you how we're going to add it back in. So we can go in here and say, it's additional entrance. It must include at least one of the following. So here we could add dog lover and golden retriever. So now what we've done is we've made it so that they must match at least one of the following. So they have to be a parent of a child 13 to 15, or a parent of a child 14 to 12, or a golden retriever fan, or a dog lover. That's not very good, because now we've made this really kind of broad, scattershot, crazy kind of thing. So what I can do is I can say it is a parent and a dog lover, and then what we can do is narrow further, and we can say it must be a dog lover and must be a golden retriever lover. And we can say Labrador retriever. So now what we have is we can say it must be a dog lover and a golden or a Labrador. So again, we can add this layer here. We can also exclude people. We can say must not love, let's say, pit bull, the rapper. I always get people like that. I know a lot of friends that are pit bull owners, and they're very proud of their animals. And pit bulls did nothing to deserve the reputation they had. Unfortunately, it was hoisted upon them by some really bad people that did a lot of bad things. But this isn't about dogs. This is about pit bull the rapper here. So we can say that we want dog lovers that love golden retrievers or Labrador retrievers, but don't like the rapper pit bull. So now we can narrow this audience down really, 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 really tight. So let's go ahead. It still says one of the categories. It says one of the categories is not valid, and I don't know which one it is at this point until we play with it. So we'll figure that out here in a minute. So we're going to update that category, give it a shot, see if it works. Well, I don't know what's happening. It's just thinking along. We may have too many streams going here inside the house at the moment, so I will check on that. 1 second. Get rid of that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not letting me refresh that. Let's see. I want to keep going there. There it goes. No, did it refresh this? Okay, there's our user. Everything seems to be good. Not quite sure which one of these is invalid. It's not telling me. So I can't really work with that, so I'm going to keep going. One of the things that I told you earlier was, let's say you wanted to be a particular rock star in your neighborhood. You wanted to become a celebrity in your neighborhood, your local neck of the woods. Let's say you're a yoga studio. Let's say you're a massage therapist. Let's say you are running for Congress or running for Senate. Or I have a friend of mine who was running for Senate in Mesa, Kara Nicole. Yeah, Kara Nicole. And she was running for Senate. This is a great way to get recognized in your neighborhood. I'll show you how to do that right now. And this kind of ties into why Ads Manager is better in some respect than Audience Manager. Audience Insights kind of gives you a really good broad opinion. Like, hey, I can test these things and I can find out what they like and what they don't like. I can find out what pages they like. But once I'm in Ads Manager, I can really refine it really, really tight. So for example, let's say I wanted to do an ad for my local area. Let's say I was running for school board. Let's say I was running for, let's say I wasn't running for anything. Let's say I just wanted to tell people, hey, I'm an excellent trainer of social media or Facebook ads, or I'm a guy. Yeah, let's just say that. Let's say I'm a guy who can run your Facebook ads for you and get results guaranteed. Well, how do I do that? I'll tell you how I do that. You go in here and you do up an ad, or you do up a post that says, if you see me on the street, give me a high five and let me know and say hello. My name is Jason. Just that. Just give me a high five and say hello. Or better yet, you can say hi, give me a high five, and I'll give you something for free. I'll give you a card. I'll buy you a coffee, or, I'll give you free access to something. But just say fun. Keep it fun. Don't make it a profit thing. Don't say, I'll give you free access to my website, or I'll give you a free consultation. Nobody make it fun. I'll give you a coffee. I'll give you a lollipop. I'll give you a sucker. I'll give you a sticker that says, I'm cool for the day. Whatever. Make it fun. Do a little post that says that. Come in here and now define your audience like this. I'm going to go into audience. I'm going to create a new audience. And in this audience, I'm going to say, get rid of the United States. Now, I happen to live in a relatively small town called Goodyear, Arizona. So I live in Goodyear, Arizona, and this is my demographic. Now, it's a 25-mile radius by default. If I want to increase that, I can go all the way up to 50 miles, which I can include literally Chandler. I can include Phoenix. I can include all that. That's not going to be good to make me a local celebrity, though, is it? Not really. So what I'll do is I'll narrow that down, and I'll say make it within just a 5-mile or 10-mile radius. So just this local area. I can even go one better than that. And let me go ahead and show you this. So I can say just go into my zip code, 85395. Now, the way it works in Goodyear, Arizona is it actually is 85395 above the freeway and 85338 below the freeway. So let's say, just to be fair for all of my my Goodyearians, 338, get the right button. I click there. So now I'm literally covering between all of Goodyear. This is the entire area of Goodyear. Now, here's the key. You post the ad over a weekend, and then your job is to get out and be seen over the weekend. You can't post an ad that says, when you see me, give me a high five, and then stay in your house and work on your computer all weekend. That doesn't make a lot of sense now, does it? But if you do this, just this little simple thing, you'll be surprised. You'll be walking down the street, people will be giving you a high five everywhere. And what do? You start this ad on Thursday. You start it on Thursday and say, if you see me over the weekend, give me a high five. And make sure your picture's there. Make sure you got that big, bright smile on. You're looking good. You're feeling good. Better still, whatever shirt you happen to be wearing in your photo, wear that shirt while you're out on the street. If you're wearing a hat, wear that same hat while you're out on the street. This will get you facial brand recognition. Now, this ad is going to cost you a little bit more, but it's targeted to the exact demographic you want. So now I'm doing this to everybody. Let's say I change this and I make this everybody in the Goodyear area. But I don't necessarily, my business isn't necessarily for everyone, is it? No, so I might narrow this down. I might say, you know what, my business, I want business owners. So I'll make it for business owners between the ages of maybe 25 and 55. Where are we at? There we are, 55. I only want English speaking because I don't speak Spanish. So I'm going to go, so only English speaking US. I'm going to get rid of this and that and that and that. So now I'm literally just looking at all men and women in Goodyear, Arizona, in both the 95 and the 388 area code or zip code, only U.S. English speaking, and now I can go detail target. I can say business owner, and here I can do either interest or job title. Now here's a very important thing. If you're doing ads for products, if you're doing ads for jewelry, fashion items, free plus shipping, print on demand, things like that, you want to typically, I say typically, use interests only. But in this particular case, I'm not running an ad for any product. I am the product. I want to be recognized on the street. If I'm a yoga instructor, again, if I'm a massage therapist, if I'm a physical personal trainer, if I'm a nutritionist, if I'm a doctor, if I'm a dentist, if I'm any of that thing that requires and relies on your local community to actually give you business, your very target small market. If I'm a dentist, right here in Goodyear, there's probably 35 dentists within a 5-mile radius. So I'm really, really narrowing down my demographic. I want to be a rock star dentist in my neighborhood. Well, then I'm going to really tighten this down. I'm going to pick a particular interest. Me, because I'm looking at people who are business owners, I would choose job title. But under most circumstances, you wouldn't. You would choose interest. I want to be a business owner, something like that. Another good example of when to use job title is if you're doing a custom print-on-demand product. My brother, for example, he is a purchasing agent, and he's a complete badass at it. So if you're going to do a custom print-on-demand product, I know this because he posted on his wall the other day that he really wants this shirt. Well, someone went out there and created this really cool custom shirt for purchasing agents and targeted him because his job title is a purchasing agent. So that would be a great reason why you'd want to do that. So in here, you can add so many different things. I'm going to go ahead and add the job title of a business owner, but I'm going to say that I want them to be an online business owner. How about that? Let's add that. So I can say, let's see. They don't have, online businesses. I saw that right here somewhere. Did I miss it? How about if I say, let's say I'm going to target restaurants in the area. So I'm going to say restaurants and I'll say restaurants is an interest. And let's say I don't want it to be fast food restaurants. I want it to be mom and pop sit down restaurants. So here I would say I would narrow it down. Oops, I'm sorry, I don't want to say narrow. I want to say exclude people who are fast food restaurants. So now I've got this, I've got business owners who are interested in restaurants, but who are not interested in fast food. And now my demographic here is 15,000 people. Again, I want to be a rock star in my neighborhood, and I want to do an ad that specifically targets these people. Well, if I spend $100 in a weekend, I know that they are going to be saturated with my face. And that's a pretty cool thing to have. We've got a few minutes to wrap up here. I want to tell you one more little trick about this there. You can add connection type. So this is where I was saying earlier when I was doing audience insights. I said I chose all of Facebook users. You can also choose people who are connected to me. This is a way you can do the same thing. You can say they're connected by my Facebook pages, people who like them, or friends of people who like them. So if I'm really trying to build up my page likes, I might go in and say, only target people who are friends of people who like my page. And that will very narrow down my audience, but it'll when they go to my page, when they see my page, it'll say your friends, and it'll give them a list of friends who also like this page. And that's a good way for them to kind of buy into that community. You can also do it based on events. If I have an event going on and they've attended my event, they've liked my event. I know I've done a lot of live events where I've had people come out on Facebook and say they're going to be there. I invite, maybe 1,000 people, and of the 1,000 people, there's maybe 500 say that I'm going to be there, but actually only 4 show up. Well, that's because it's easy on Facebook to say, sure, I'll be there, but then you don't actually show up. Well, what I can do here is I can target people who said that they were going to be at my event, and then they can see more information, maybe a follow-up video or buy the DVD set after the fact of the live training, or they can download the video online, or they can join my page, things like that. So these are different ways to do that, and then obviously you can do some advanced combinations. We won't get into that. Generally speaking, you don't want to add Facebook connections because those are people you're already connected to. What you really want to do is you want to start with a broader audience and get them connected to you. So this is a basic overview, and it gets of Ads Manager and gets really deep into audience insights. Those are the 2 things we covered today. Now, I'm sure that after this, you've got tons of questions, and that's okay. I like tons of questions. There's ways to get a hold of us. The best way to get a hold of us is to go over to www.teamborabora.com. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this up for you. I didn't plan this, of course, so let me do it this way. It'll take me a second to launch this. I'm going to send you over to teamborabora.com. That's www.teamborabora.com. If you go over there, then what we can do is, we can go ahead and have you sign up there, and you'll just get some information. We do not spam. But what we do is let you know when something cool is going to happen. And that's stuff like this training. If you want additional training, we'll be able to give you that as well. Boom. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to teamborabora.com. Again, that's teamborabora.com. When you do that, there's a little sign up page right in the corner, and just put your information in there. I promise you, if anything, you're going to get less email than you expect. But the idea is if you have questions, once you're part of Team Bora Bora, once you get involved and engaged with us, that's when you can ask questions. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and invite you over to our Facebook page. And in our Facebook page, you can ask lots of questions there. You can also ask questions right here on the YouTube channel. Ask those questions. I do pay attention to that sort of thing, and I will answer the questions personally. Also, you can join me on Facebook. My name is Jason W. Nast, and I would love to see you over there and hang out with you and become friends and to learn about your business as well. I like to do this information for free. I don't charge for it because we're a community. We're here to learn together. We're here to grow together. And our mission is clear, is to help entrepreneurs and basically people who want to live life on their own terms. And that's my goal, is to help you live life on your terms. I hope you come party with us in Bora Bora. We'll be looking forward to talking with you soon. Have a wonderful, gorgeous, and terrific day.